Global TV News Prime, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, urges Nigerians to demand accountability and transparency in the ongoing constitution review process from the 10th National Assembly. In business, the federal government set to produce over 4 million tons of green ammonia come 2060. And on the foreign scene, the Congolese government and M23 rebels have signed ceasefire agreement. And in sport, Galatasaray to sign Edison after completing Osimhen deal. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News at Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. And now the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Mohamed Babangida, son of former military president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, as the new chairman of the Bank of Agriculture. The announcement was made in a statement issued by the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. The statement also listed 8 others who have been appointed to head key federal government institutions. Among the new appointees are Lydia Kalat Musa, who will head the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority, Jamilu Wada Aliu, appointed as the head of the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, and Sanusi Garba Rikiji, named Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has urged Nigerians to take advantage of the ongoing constitution review process to demand greater accountability and transparency from the 10th National Assembly. Speaking at the Constitution Review public hearing in Owerri, at the Center 7 Imo and Abia State, Kalu highlighted the importance of citizens' participation in the process. The public hearing is a part of the ongoing effort to review and amend the 1999 Constitution, with stakeholders and citizens making submissions on the way forward for the Nigerian state. The federal government has issued a public health alert warning of active outbreak of cholera, dengue fever, yellow fever, mpox, and diphtheria across the country. According to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, cholera has spread to 32 states, with Zamfara alone accounting for 32% of cases, while dengue and yellow fever have been confirmed in states including Edo, Lagos, and Rivers. The NCDC warned that Nigeria risks a major health crisis unless all stakeholders intensify response efforts and citizens adopt strict preventive measures. The presidential candidate of the new Nigerian People's Party and former Kano State Governor, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, on Saturday paid a condolence visit to the family of the late ex-president Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, Katsina State. Kwankwaso also visited the Emir of Daura, Alhaji Umar Farouk Umar, where he extended his sympathies to the Daura Emirate Council over the death of the former Nigerian president. During the visit, Kwankwaso met with Alhaji Maman Daura, a close confidant and nephew of the late president, to personally express his condolences. Former Senate leader and lawmaker representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, has commended President Bola Tinubu over the recent appointments into the boards of key federal agencies. Ndume, who gave the commendation in a statement issued in Abuja, described them as timely and responsive to the concern on the northern region. Those appointed include Chairperson of the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority, Lydia Musa, Chairman of the National Education Research and Development Council, Jamilu Aliu, and chairman of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, Yahuza Inua. Also appointed were chairman of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Sanusi Musa San, and Muhammad Babangida, son of former military president Ibrahim Babangida, who was named chairman of the Restructured Bank of Agriculture. In politics, some members of the opposition recently joined forces to form the African Democratic Congress, ADC. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, once a relatively quiet player in the national politics, is now raising the stakes against the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. Can the ADC defeat the APC in 2027? In the report of our correspondent Ubong Usoro asked citizens of their opinion about the new party. Here is the report.
Nigeria's political history is filled with dramatic power shifts, from the dominance of the PDP for 16 years to the emergence of the APC in 2015. Now eyes are on whether another shift is coming. In July 2025, opposition heavyweights, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's Peter Obi, former Senate President David Mark, and former governors Ralph Arabiola and Rotimi Amechi, united under the ADC platform. The coalition chose ADC as its vehicle to challenge APC's grip on power in 2027, citing the need to prevent one-party dominance and to present a united front. David Mark now serves as interim national chairman, while Arabiola as interim secretary. Founded in 2005, the ADC had previously maintained a modest presence in national politics, but this recent coalition has breathed new life into the party, turning it into a centerpiece of opposition strategy ahead of the next elections.
It's not possible for them to unseat the sitting government. What are the reasons? This is a government, the candidate, which before now, he was not in the system like being in the government, but he find his way to become the sitting president. So you know, there is a way the Nigerian politics work. It is not possible you just come and unseat a sitting president.
Observers say the move mirrors the 2015 alliance that brought APC to power. The question is, can history repeat itself?
I don't think they will be able to win APC, because when a man who has not been in the seat can be able to win and come over, now that he's sitting, I don't think they will win him, because he has every power to put everything in place as soon as it concerns his growth in the office.
If they do the right thing, I believe they will collect it. What is there that they're supposed to zone it, the place supposed to be, that is south. It's turn of south. It's 8 years. So if they zone it to the south, understand, let's assume that they give it to the south, south will run for it. But if we go to north, definitely they will lose it.
As preparations for 2027 intensify, the real battle may be between the old guards and a united opposition seeking to disrupt the status quo. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
World leaders, activists and citizens converge in Abuja to reaffirm their commitment to democratic values in Nigeria and call for transparency, accountability and inclusive governance on the global stage. Samuel Odi reports.
Ahead of International Conference on Democracy in a show of unity aimed rising global authoritarianism, heads of states, civil society leaders, and human rights advocates called for urgent collaborative actions to defend fundamental freedom, uphold transparent governance, and restore public trust in domestic institutions worldwide.
What must African democracy look like in the age of digital disruption, youthful surges, and global uncertainty? How do we forge robust institutions, build credible elections, and entrench accountability, not rhetorically, but in deeds and not dollars? How do we ensure that our economic systems foster sovereignty, that our social contracts are vibrant, and that every African voice, women, youth, rural, urban, finds her place in our democracy?
The program director, Godson Mwankwo, said African leaders owe it to the young people who comprises of the vibrant heart of society to build institutions that are both inclusive and enduring. He further stated that African youths also owe it to the elders to honor the wisdom that has carried Africans thus far, and to our children the promise of a continent unvaccinated from dependency.
When we have this conversation, we realize that our founding fathers faced this same challenge. And the vision of the founding fathers that came together when they formed the AU was to open up Africa, to unite Africa so that we can be united among ourselves. We are a continent of 1.4 billion people with a potential market of $3 trillion. But because of these fragmented borders and closed systems, we cannot explore this potential.
With present challenges and hopeful possibilities ahead, this conference stands as both a reflection of relying points for the future of democracy. Saria Odi reporting for Global Television News.
In a bid to promote inclusive education and reduce the number of out-of-school girls, Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has flagged off the disbursement of conditional cash transfer to 8,225 adolescent girls across the state. The event held in Gusau, the state capital, marks a significant milestone in the implementation of the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, Agile, Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes. Zarau Nasir has details.
Access to education remains a major challenge for adolescent girls in Zamfara State and across northern Nigeria. Issues such as poverty, early marriage, insecurity, long distances to schools, and gender-based barriers have forced many girls out of the classroom, limiting their future prospects. Governor Dauda Lawal, while speaking at the event, said the disbursement of conditional cash transfers to 8,225 secondary school girls is part of his administration's broader efforts to strengthen education, promote social inclusion, and empower vulnerable populations across the 14 local government areas of the state. He noted that the beneficiaries were carefully selected from low-income and underserved communities.
These girls, selected from the poorest and most vulnerable households, will receive 40,000 to support their continued enrollment and transition through school.
Permanent Secretary, Multilateral and Donor Agencies Saadatu Abdu Gusau says the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project seeks to address these challenges by providing both financial and infrastructural support to encourage school enrollment, retention, and completion among girls, especially those from poorest households.
As we symbolically flag off the disbursement of funds to beneficiaries of two transformative initiatives.
One of the students' beneficiaries, Hawa Abdurrahman, thanked the state government for the intervention and pledged that the girls in Zamfara will rise to the occasion and make the state proud.
Finally, I, on behalf of the entire Zamfara State girls and students, appreciate your effort, Your Excellency, for giving opportunity to projects like this.
The event also included symbolic presentations to beneficiaries of the AgriSal project, targeting environmental sustainability, rural livelihoods, and climate resilience. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebels sign ceasefire deal ahead of August peace talk. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the federal government has unveiled plan to produce over 4 million tons of green ammonia annually by 2060 as part of efforts to transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy and boost local fertilizer production. And the target was disclosed at the Nigeria for Hydrogen Stakeholders Workshop held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, where top government officials, development partners, and academia convened to review the country's green hydrogen prospects, a statement by the organizer. This was as the Vice President Kashim Shettima calls for investment in the production of green hydrogen as part of efforts to diversify Nigeria's energy mix and tap into the fast-growing global green economy. He said the green hydrogen project would create new economic opportunities for the country. He pointed out that the nation's abundant sunlight and wind resources can be harnessed to generate the clean electricity required for green hydrogen production. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of the Southeast Investment Company, that is SEC, with a capital base of 150 billion naira, aimed at accelerating economic transformation in the Southeast. The SEC, a subsidiary of the Southeast Development Commission, is designed to mobilize pivotal capital and implement strategic projects in infrastructure, education, and enterprise development. It will initially be state-backed, but it's expected to evolve into a public-private partnership model by the fourth quarter of 2025, with pilot investment beginning later this year. The Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, has disbursed a total of 1.818 trillion naira to the federal, state and local government as revenue for June 2025, reflecting a 159 billion naira increase from May's 1,659 trillion naira. The July meeting held in Abuja confirmed that the shared revenue came from statutory allocations of 1.018 trillion naira VAT, then 631.5 billion naira EMTL, 29.1 billion naira exchange difference, 28.8 billion and 100 billion augmentation from non-mineral sources. Gross revenue for the month stood at 4.232 trillion and 162.7 billion naira deducted for collection costs and over 2.2 trillion allocated to saving, refunds, and other interventions. The trend of micro and small business in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, is becoming alarming, defacing the city and making it more of a market than the administrative capital as it was designed to be. The phenomenon has now only become a common sight of all over Abuja, but is fast redefining the perception of the city by both residents and visitors. Sadia Yakubu provides insight on the dynamics of hawking and its implications.
The practice of selling goods on the streets or along roads has become an increasingly visible feature in Abuja, despite the city's status as a planned urban center with strict regulations. Hawking persists as a daily survival strategy for many. At the Federal Secretariat, for instance, business of food items and other household commodities is patronized by people who work in the area. Although hawking is prohibited in the city center, many of the vendors, especially young people and women, resort to selling items such as snacks, drinks, electronics, and clothing due to lack of gainful employment opportunities. Respondents speak on major factors driving this trend.
My own problem is say as the country they had, may they just allow us more they manage our life they go. Anything what we see, more just they manage to survive with our children.
As women in the society, in the community, so we are strong to feed our children. But the task they are always disturbing us.
People from less developed regions migrate to Abuja in search of better livelihoods, often end up in setting up small businesses like hawking and selling of items for survival. Street hawking in Abuja reflects broader socio-economic challenges. While regulatory enforcement is necessary, long-term solutions must address poverty, unemployment, and inclusive urban planning. Sadia Yakubiahia, Global Television.
The Congolese government and M23 rebels have signed a ceasefire agreement that mandates the withdrawal of rebels from occupied areas and the reinstatement of national institutions, with a permanent peace deal expected to follow by early August. Presidents Paul Kagame of Rwanda and Felix Tshisekedi of Democratic Republic of Congo are expected to meet soon to consolidate the Washington peace deal amid allegations by UN experts that Rwanda military supported the M23 offensive. Despite this progress, skepticism remains high as previous ceasefire has failed and violence in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has already displaced thousands and killed many civilians. South Korea's former President Yoon Suk-yeol has been indicted for abuse of power after unilaterally declaring martial law last year and deploying troops to prevent parliament from overturning his decision, plunging the country into political turmoil. Prosecutors say he bypassed cabinet procedure, forged documents claiming endorsement from key officials, and obstructed investigation while evading arrest for weeks. The Syrian presidency has announced an immediate ceasefire in Suida following a week of intense sectarian violence between Druze militia and bordering tribesmen that killed over 700 people, with graphic scenes of bodies on the street. Syrian security forces have been deployed to enforce the truce, a move supported by Israel on the condition that the Druze minority is protected, though clashes had already drawn in government forces. Now from the world of sports, the Super Falcons of Nigeria delivered a dominant performance to crush Zambia 5-0 in the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON 2024 quarterfinal in Casablanca. Goals from Ahade Okoronpo, Ihezwo, Demihin and Ijemilisi helped secure Nigeria's 13th semi-final appearance, extending their clean sheet record in the tournament to 4 matches. The win marks a significant redemption for the Falcons, who lost to Zambia in their previous WAFCON encounter in 2022. Manchester City's Edison will become Galatasaray's new goalkeeper after the Turkish champions complete the permanent signing of Victor Osimhen from Napoli. This was disclosed by respected Galatasaray reporter Jakub Sina. Galatasaray and Napoli have been agreed on bank guarantees and payment plan for Osimhen's permanent transfer to the Turkish giants this summer. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has urged Nigerians to take advantage of the ongoing constitution review process to demand greater accountability and transparency from the 10th National Assembly. In business, the federal government has unveiled a plan to produce over 4 million tons of green ammonia annually by 2060 as part of efforts to transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy and boost local fertilizer production on the foreign scene. The Congolese government and M23 rebels have signed a ceasefire agreement that mandates the withdrawal of rebel forces from occupied areas and the reinstatement of national institutions, with a permanent peace deal expected to follow by early August. And finally, from the water sport, Manchester City's Edison will become Galatasaray's new goalkeeper after the Turkish champions complete the permanent signing of Victor Osimhen from Napoli. That is it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Abu. Thank you for watching.